What's going on, guys? It's your boy Player X with the Semi-Limited Podcast. Unfortunately, Dylan could not join us today. He had a little bit of a family emergency, but right before recording, so we are joined by our Twitch representative, Bradley. You guys know him as Brad used to play games, but now it's Mr. Purrfect over here.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing today?
And that's right. So he will be filling in, and we'll just be talking about some of the things that went down at Worlds that happened over the weekend. So before we get into that, huge thank you to everyone listening for even clicking on this. So appreciate all you guys for showing love to the podcast and to the channels. Be sure to go down in the description box below to that Linktree link and click on it to see all of our social sites. You can click follow to subscribe to all of those channels. When we hit 50 Twitter followers or X followers, whatever the fuck it is now, and TikTok followers, we will be giving giveaways out. We're pretty close on Twitter since we had that Dune giveaway announced, which we'll be talking about the winner at the end of the show. And we also have the TikTok ones slowly climbing up there. I think we're just over 35, so we're getting pretty close there. So be sure to click on those and follow as well. And then we also want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Unplugged Gaming in Manlius, New York. You can be sure to check out their Discord server in the description box below as well. I'll have it linked down there below. They sponsored our Dune giveaway on Twitter. So if you guys saw that, we have our winner picked and ready to be given away at the end of the episode. So we'll be sure to stick around to find out if that was you or not. Also, be sure to check Bradley on Twitch as he streams every Saturday at 11 p.m. You can be sure to check him out. I'll make sure to have it linked down below, and he can tell you about all the wacky things he does on his Twitch channel.
Yeah, all the misplays and rage quits that I do.
Yeah,
like I said, I recently it's just been playtesting. There's an upcoming regional in Rochester, but if you ever want to see like anything Yu-Gi-Oh, come on and check me out. It's twitch.tv/semi_perv. Oh no, what were they saying last time? I got to Purrfect, or what was Dylan saying? I got to roll the R's. Purrfect. I got to roll the R's. But it's semi-perfect gaming. But yeah, definitely check it out. See me. Kick some little kid's ass in Yu-Gi-Oh! And make him cry. So.
Yeah, and there's a lot of wholesome shit in the chat between a bunch of Brad's built-up community. So be sure to go down there and check them out on Saturdays if you want to get in on that Yu-Gi-Oh! Fun. But without any further ado, I really wanted to get into today's episode because we're talking about the 2023 World's Championship that happened in Japan. But before we get into that, I want to introduce our very special guest tonight. You guys may know him as the 2016 World's runner-up finalist. We know him as the round 4 bye, which is none other than Erik Christenson. If you want to say what's up.
Yeah, maybe one day if you'll get to round 4, but we'll see.
X3 drop over here.
Yeah.
So you want to introduce yourself to the people who may not know who you are?
Yeah. I've won Dallas for a YCS Nationals. I got second at Worlds myself. I stopped playing for a little bit. Wouldn't play Dragon Ball Super. Topped a couple things over there.
Won a championship, yeah.
Nah, I didn't win anything over there. I was close though.
Oh, really?
But
No,
I topped Nationals in that game, so now I'm back to Yu-Gi-Oh. And
he was over here collecting rings.
Yeah, just topping levels ever since.
Yeah, I topped Philly like 2 or 3 months ago, and that's pretty much it. I scrubbed that ass.
It's all right, but you went in there, pulled the Starlight in your side event, so that's all that really mattered.
Oh, yeah,
you were the winner in everyone's hearts.
Yeah,
exactly.
Good.
So for the 2023 Worlds, that in case anyone didn't see, it was streamed on Friday in American time, and then it was streamed on Saturday in Japan time, and it was streamed so late over here in America that I was able to catch it because I'm just a night bat. But let me tell you, I wish I was asleep during day one because the presentation for the streaming for the Worlds was just absolutely atrocious. I don't know what was going on with those tables. Those tables were just barely big enough to hold just the field. They couldn't even put their hands down. People had to like set their hands in the playing field because there was nowhere else to put it, but you had to keep it on camera. I don't know what was going on. Like the boxes in the back looked like they were in the back of a Home Depot. I don't get it.
I mean, at least like put like a table cover over it. It literally was straight out the box.
Yeah,
it was just so tacky. And I'm talking about if this was like maybe like a YCS or like even like a regional stream or something, I'm like, all right, I can understand that. But this is like the creme de la creme event. I was just talking to Ryan App on the way over to locals the other day, and we were just talking about how like it's okay that it wasn't like that spectacular. And I was like, nah, I think it really needed to be. Like this is like the like biggest tournament of like our Yu-Gi-Oh careers, quote unquote, and this is the way that they presented it. Yeah, like it's just like this is what I am supposed to go to bed at night dreaming to attain is the championship of a trophy held in the closet of fucking Office Max. Like I don't get it. It just make no sense to me. Like you make so much money, you have, and then just to on day 2 have that huge ass stage. And I know that they were sharing it with a bunch of other things like the Duel Links and the Master Duel. But Milano had a really good skit that I saw today, and it was the stage being in like someone's garage, and they asked about Duel Links, and they were like, "Who cares? Just pull out your phone, go stand in the corner. No one cares about it. You're here for the TCG OCG match." And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what they should have done, is shared that big stage with the real TCG players who were playing with cards, and then maybe gave like the Master Duel players that like back room, because you're only really watching the screen anyway. Who cares about what you're watching? But that card game stream really needed to be on point. I just didn't feel like it was.
I think like how they did the finals was how every at least feature match should have been. I can't believe they did
Thank you.
The streaming out there was kind of crazy. So that part didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But I mean, if you're gonna put them back there to play for the people not in stream, so be it. But at the same time, at least put the feature match on something nice.
At the very least.
Like Konami pays for them to get out there, right? As far as like travel and you know your stay and accommodations and all that.
Yeah,
I guess it's Japan. They had to pay more, so they couldn't afford the real mats.
I mean, for all the money they were spending on their product, the least they could do is give us a nice venue, because that looked like a little rec room. Like you could have played like dodgeball in that room, and that shit was fun.
It looked like someone's like house, like it was carpet. Like
it looked like someone's finished basement.
The paper mats from their deck boxes, like
from the structure decks.
Yeah,
fold-out tables. Here you go.
So when you were in Worlds, Eric, did they stream everything, or was there like a stream table like focused on, or like was everyone still in the vicinity?
It was, so mine was like how it was at the end. It was a big stage, and in the middle was the streaming setup, and then on the right side was Dragon Duels, like if you're looking at the stage, and the left side was TCG. And that was obviously before they had Duel Links and Master Duel and all that, but like it was still like the setups for the tables. Each player had like you got your entry mats, which were the mats of the prize cards, and then on the tables were stationary like play mats of those cards that you didn't like pick up, and like it was just like the setup there. And like down to like the pad and paper, like you got your own little 2016 like Worlds champion like pad. I still use it to this day. Like, and they just had the little Egyptian god one you can get for like 2 tickets at the prize wall. Like, I was like, they really downgraded everything.
Yeah, so it was crazy to see that even the backdrops, for day 2 were just like not up to par. Like I'm at a loss for words because it's really just disappointing.
The calculators, fun fact, the calculators they were using were from the first SJC. It looked like they were like 25.
They probably would have been. It looked like they would have been. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
if you would have said it, I would have believed it. If someone would have memed it, I'd have bought it.
Like if the light would have went out, like the calculators would have stopped working.
Yeah, would have to turn on that phone flashlight to charge it. Yeah, I mean, I think they're split on their focus. I mean, I think Master Duel is a good thing because that like brings in like a whole extra client base. But having 2 different online games, you have Master Duel and Duel Links, doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, I agree, because I never really was a big fan of Master Duel to begin with, personally. I don't know about you, Brad. I know you stream it though.
When it first came out.
Well, now that it's out, like Duel Links doesn't need to exist anymore. Personally, is how I feel. But like, I know it's its own format. It's like speed duel stuff, but that's another thing. Probably, in my opinion, doesn't really need to like exist. But whatever.
No, I agree. Waste of cardboard.
Same thing with their Rush Duel stuff. Like, not saying like I will say
cards
though.
Look cool.
I was about to say the artwork. Yeah, the artwork of the Rush Duel cards looks like chef's kiss. Like that looks wonderful. But other than that, It's like, why so many like different types? Like they're trying.
Yeah, because not only that, but the main competition was split now because now you got players like Jesse Cotton, Ryan Yu, who normally would attend Worlds for the actual card game, now attending for Master Duel instead. Like that, the pool for the Worlds could have been very much different if people didn't decide to go for a Master Duel, if people didn't decide to go for Duel Links. You know what I'm saying? Like you saw obviously streamers like Farfa, Team APS,
Yeah, Josh
and all
Schmidt.
them. And Joshua
Like,
Smith, yeah,
they're all
exactly, all
good
of them.
like they're all definitely players that can make it on their own, but just like the one thing I thought was odd about the Master Duel specifically was that you won, but you could bring two people with you. I mean, that's sick for the two people that did qualify,
Yeah,
but
right.
like it's not, at that point if you're doing a 3-on-3, like you qualified, but let's say you suck, but you just somehow qualified. You have your other two people that can carry you like for a whole tournament just to get stuff. So it's like, I don't know. It just didn't seem like, I don't want to use the term fair because obviously you still have to qualify, but it just didn't seem like 100%, I guess.
Yeah,
Is
it
the
seemed
way
it
to
seemed
put it.
No, I see
lopsided
what
for
you're
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, they're all good. They're all obviously all three of the people that were on like Ryan Yu's team, for instance, they were all like good players, but like and I don't know. It just seemed very odd to me that you could just bring
Mhm.
two people to compete with you. That just seemed they didn't earn that
Yeah,
invite.
the concept of that is definitely very far fetched to say the least. Like it's just like what
Yeah.
we're doing
Yeah.
3v3s on a best of one game format. Like what?
Yeah, for real. So I don't know.
Yo, I guess Jesse Cotton does anything to play tier one last time, dog.
Yeah.
He loves that deck so much. I
Yeah.
mean, speaking of which, what did you think about the competitive pool for this year? Like, did you guys think that there were a lot of bigger names in it this year than other years, especially compared to like your 2016 year?
I mean, I knew a lot of people in this one just because they're from Florida, where I'm at. So I knew like, and I didn't really like hang out with any of them for it. But like Jeremy Mitchell, I already knew. I like played. I knew him like back when I lived there. Lars, he was like a little kid when I I was playing, but I knew who he was. It wasn't like,
Lars.
I think he's
yeah.
the one that I said the thing about in the
Yeah,
last thing. I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, he looked like Jeffrey Dahmer's little brother from the picture. I think it was something like that. Yeah, I'm
Nah,
sorry.
Lars is
I'm
cool, but it's
sorry.
like
I bet he is.
he has a good sense of humor, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, like those two people, I mean, I know I'm not like, best friends by any means with like Pauly, but I know who Pauly is.
Yeah.
And the other two, I'm all of my friends knew who Enzo was, another guy
yeah. Of
there.
course,
I
Enzo. Yeah,
personally
Enzo's
haven't
dope.
met him, but like those are all like that's four people out of the six going from US that I know. But I wouldn't like classify any of them as like big name. Pauly, he won 250th, I would classify.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
other than that, everyone else who went, they're not like major names by any means that like everyone knows.
No,
Jeremy, I
no, I
guess,
can
'cause he
agree.
won a YCS too, and he had
Yeah,
just
and
won
I guess
that.
one Nats. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I guess he
so
won Nats too. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But
We lost in
I've
top
only
four.
heard
I
his name
lost
mentioned
in
a couple
finals,
times.
so I'm good. I still made it further.
Yeah, so yeah, you still are the runner-ups. How does that feel? Like I know that it felt kind of good for the last couple of years, like being the farthest North American player. So are you like
Yeah.
kind of like enthusiastic to see that at least someone from North America has won, or you kind of just wanted to be like the farthest person?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, I want to say that, but it's not gonna stay forever. But no, if anyone's gonna do it, I mean, I'm very happy Pauly did it. The guy's like in love with Yu-Gi-Oh, and I love that for him.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely.
With Dragon Link.
he deserves it. He's such a nice like guy. On top of it, you talk to him for like 10 seconds, and you'll be like, guy is like a heart of
I get
gold.
him.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm happy that he won. I mean, he still didn't do all three in one season, so we'll see if anyone can do that. But
Oh wow,
myself
250th,
included.
250th,
He got
winning the
close.
world's cup. Yeah, he
He's
did.
missing Nats though.
He
He's
did.
missing Nats.
He's missing
He
that.
didn't even top Nats. He
He's missing
topped.
one of the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, so I don't know if he did top it. I could just be talking shit, but he didn't win like top the way I would want to top for that. But
I feel you.
yeah, so that's just I'm happy.
What about in 2016? So like, do you feel it was like way more competitive back then, like the player pool?
Nats was Worlds was stacked. I mean, round one I played Bowden. Like it was like not like a walk in the park by any means. So I don't know if I'd say it was stacked. I mean, there were a couple good people like me, Travis, who had also won a YCS, Bowden, who's won, a couple events. Tommy Rowe, who had just like won the more or less the other Nats for ARG, like right before that after Real Nats. Admasu, who was like he's good in a lot of games. He played like Pokemon and stuff too. And then just like all the OCG players were crazy. There's one guy there who I was so sad because he was the nicest guy. He got ninth, and he was like, I would not want that guy to go to my locals. I would never win the. He was
You
very
say
good.
much rather deal with you.
Yeah, dude, he was very good, and he got ninth, and I just felt awful because he was like he was like Paulie. He was like the nicest guy in the world. So
Yeah.
it was definitely a stacked tournament. Like when you really got down to like those kinds of players. I don't know if it necessarily had like big names like Hoban and stuff like that. Just like off the cuff,
Yeah.
Bowden I would say is probably the biggest name anyone would recognize there. But it was pretty. This was the hardest tournament I ever played. It's the only tournament I would say to date I can remember every single round I played like card for card.
Yeah.
So,
I feel as though it would kind of be burned into your memory after that.
yeah, like I mean, I know how I won every like round. I know how I lost every round. I know like what they did to win. Like it just every single round. And game one, I didn't brick necessarily. I only had one line, and he had Valor, and I just lost. Like I was like, oh okay, I lose.
Yeah.
It was only
You got it.
and then
Yeah.
game two is just like five spells and anti spell or something like that. I'm like, okay, well I lose.
Okay, where you got this guy? Wash
So,
up. All right, you're just the best.
I felt bad just for losing, but I didn't like. I know I didn't lose like on my own like thing. It was just
You
brick.
didn't misplay.
Yeah.
Motherfucker
exactly.
just had it. Sometimes they just got it.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you, Brad? You think anyone in there was really notable?
Like I said, I mean, with Jeremy winning that recent one, then again, I'm not too familiar with the other names like how Sir Eric is, Mr. YCS over here. I mean, but no,
That's because
like,
Florida had so many people.
yeah, but just the fact that we even had like our first USA winner in Paulie is great. So I mean, that's awesome in of itself. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big congrats to Paulie too, because he's been on the podcast, and as you guys said, he's just a genuine guy. He was at I always tell the story of when I saved Paulie's life, because he was doing Worlds runs.
I
and
remember
he was
that.
at Catskills, and he had a peanut allergy and ate something in that coffee shop next to the venue that had peanuts on it, and he went into a fucking shock, and I had to basically run to his rescue and help him out. But he's that good of a guy that me not knowing who the fuck this guy is decided that I need to come help out. Like he's just a genuine person. So yeah, much congrats and much love to Paulie, because he earned every single bit of it. Like you said, he loves Yu-Gi-Oh! And entirely in his shows. So I give him that. Speaking of Worlds, I mean, as far as like the ban list, like Paulie was winning playing D-Link, and I felt like the way that he played it, and I think the other South American player, or the Colombian player played it, he really, like, they both really knew that deck was going to get them there. Like just the lines of play, the ability, the toolbox, the ability to have different lines of play, to not be so linear. It was far and away, I think, probably the best deck played, right up there with Rika deck. Yeah.
I would say the wildest thing that I heard, because I obviously have friends that know the Florida guys. Apparently, so the whole thing, even when I went, they didn't really give you the ban list till like a week or two prior to the event, and you can kind of like know because it's just whatever card is lower on like the ban list of either list is what it's going to be at here. But
Yeah.
the main thing you don't know is what sets are legal. So like for mine, I think it was the weekend of Worlds, it was the set where Desires was coming out. So we're all like, can you use that? And they wouldn't tell us until like a week before. So I had like two lists that I made, one with Desires and one without, just so I was like ready for either one. But what I learned, I guess, about this one was even kind of crazier. Apparently, and I obviously can't like, put a fact on this, but if for what I heard was true, you were not able to use the Brothers of Legend set, which means you don't have Assault Synchron, Duality, like any of those cards. You couldn't. But those came out prior to Nats.
Oh no, you're right. No, you're right. I did see something about that, and it was Wild Survivors was the cutoff. So you're right.
Which is so crazy to me. And I was just like, dude, that set has been out for a month. Like, what if that was the deck that you used to like top Nats? Like, one of those cards in there, and you can't use the deck that you topped with to play at a tournament a month later. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. So
No,
I
I
agreed
don't
with
like
that.
the new Dino cards like Xenos and all that type of
yeah,
stuff. And yeah, no, that is pretty wild.
it didn't like click. It was different because the set that we were like in reference to for mine was coming out that weekend. So like, okay, maybe people can't get it. They don't want it to be unfair advantage, like whatever, people have to travel.
Yeah.
But this set has been out for a month, and on top of that, OCG's had all those cards for 50 fucking years at that point.
Yeah,
So
they've had it for a
it's
while.
like, yeah.
So we're just
So
getting them imported. I can agree with that. I think that I also argued that the ban list was going to be very, very restrictive, and
they
I
don't
didn't know
really
how good or bad it was going to be.
they don't really ban they don't make like I mean, maybe they changed it now, but from what mine was, they don't just make like a custom ban list. All it is just banning. They give you the certified ban list. There are certain cards that are banned about because they don't want like life points to be like play like Rainbow Life was banned like for my worlds, but like it was just so you're not trolling more or less. Not
Yeah.
like cards that are actually going to impact like your deck building. But they'll just take the OCG list and TCG list. Whatever card is lower on either list is what it'll be at for Worlds. So like Maxi's at 3 in OCG, but banned here, so it would be banned. Same
Okay.
with like Druis Worm is at 3 here, but it's like 1 there, so it'd be at 1.
Yep.
Yeah, 'cause, I mentioned the Bistio package was all limited to one.
Yeah,
Like
they're all limited.
a bunch of decks were all neutered.
Yeah,
So,
that's like the main thing, is
Branded,
just
yeah.
showing and to see what like sets are legal is more or less like what they're showing. So it's you have a good idea of like what you can do if you know like a relative idea of like what OCG is and like what decks are like, if anything is still viable in TCG and OCG. But it's hard sometimes. It wasn't as defined as like mine was. Mine was either BA, Pendulum, or Blue Eyes, and that was it. Like everything else was extremely troll if you picked it.
Is it so when you went to go deck build, were you looking at what was good in the TCG and how you can implement it in the OCG or from an OCG list, or did you look at the OCG and be like, all right, this is where the best of the best players are playing, let me try to see what they're on and look ahead?
No, because the OCG is always like a format ahead of us, and what they're playing at the moment isn't either out or like they have certain cards that are unbanned or whatever over there that we don't have access to. Because all the TCG exclusive stuff is also like you can't use that because they don't have those.
Yeah, I saw that all of those banned.
Like Aurora, stuff like that.
The Gate Guardian shit was banned, and I said that it was because it was overpowered. But
yeah, it's stuff like that you have to take into account too for it, but you can't really you have to come up with your own deck for Worlds. I mean, you can't like, that's why there were so many different ones. I think it was, from what I saw, I mean, there was hardly any, if any, hit for the Sun Avalon deck, and I just thought that was like an obvious choice. But at the same time, being an obvious choice, you can like side correctly for it. Like, you could know that people are gonna have that same idea. That was who I thought was gonna win, was Jessica with the
Jess, and she got what, top 8?
Yeah, because she got to use the deck that she already knew from winning her event with. So
exactly.
it was
All of her
like,
events,
yeah, so that's why when Polly beat her, I was like, oh, Polly, got this in the bag probably at this point.
Goated,
So,
yeah.
So that's what I saw like for it. I mean, but you just look at all the decks people brought. I mean, there was like 20 different decks. It was crazy. So
there was a lot of diversity.
I expected it to be a stronger sprite representation, just being a little bit more mid-range, but I was fairly surprised to see the decks in the room. So do you guys think that because Konami's like aware of what like the meta might be with the implemented OCG list, that they might convert that over to the TCG? Like, could we see a ban of Kashtira, a Fenrir, a limit of Unicorn? Are we going to see opening and Brand Diffusion at 1?
The only reason why is, one, as much of like people try and say that there's like a trend from OCG to TCG, I think the biggest recent example is the adventure package. That was like obliterated to nothing in Japan like multiple times, and here has been touched once. No one plays it. It's still like full power like that. So it's very different, I think.
Same with Jagruin too, I would say.
Yeah, like I mean, well, sort of, because of
It's not as warping. Yeah, it's not as warping as it was in the OCG.
Yeah, it just doesn't have that same effect. And I think, in part, most of that is due to the existence of Maxi, because those cards are, if you Maxi your opponent, you're at 4 cards if they don't do anything, like if you shotgun it. Whereas if you have like a card like Dragoon that's only going to lock you into 1 summon, now you just put up in 1 summon an Omni Negate that's like untouchable through like a Maxi without giving them advantage. So I think
Yeah.
that was the same kind of idea with Adventure, because they could go right, they chain Maxi, and then you hold the Griffin for their turn to summon it. So I think that's one of the major factors why it hasn't really taken off over here, is just that card. I think Maxi should be banned in every format, should never come back to Yu-Gi-Oh! So I truly think that card warps the entire game just by existing. I mean,
Exactly.
and it's in
It does,
reaching
though.
effect like that, like you don't even like realize at first, like.
Mm.
But anyone that ever supports that card coming back just doesn't get it. I feel, but
You're not wrong. It's literally just always an OTK now. Like, yeah, if they had Maxi back and you were just like Maxi, oh, gotta pass my turn. Okay, clear your 1 monster, boom, you're dead. Like it's so simple.
it's like worse than
Yeah,
D
forces your
Shifter.
point.
I mean, it is like there's just
Mm.
you can't. You just get punished for playing the game. Is basically what it is. It's
Yeah.
like such a bait, because you're like, I can play through this, and then they draw 15 cards.
Give me puppet.
You set up like a 2 or 3 negate board, and then you're
Give me
like, oh, I
puppet.
lure. Yeah, exactly. It's like
Oh yeah,
you just can't
he's
do
drawing
it. It's
half his
just not.
deck.
It's not healthy.
Give me puppet.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's funny because I always sit back and like a child listening to like his parents or just grown people talk. Like I don't ever, because I never played in a format with Maxi. I've never activated Maxi, so I shouldn't have an
Mhm.
opinion about Maxi, in my own opinion. So, but I always sit back and listen to people who are in those formats and just hear like people who think it should be at least 1, people who think it should be banned, people who think it should be at 3. Like I just listen to see like what everyone's like viewpoint is. Just because I may not have one or a valid one, let's just say, doesn't mean that I don't like listening to other people's. Because Antonio would say Maxi to 3. So,
Nah.
but we
It's
see
just-
that there's the skill difference between. So,
Of course.
Yeah, I think like, and obviously this is just one scenario of it, but like, at our locals we'll do those like last chance ban list ones, and even playing with the B Trooper stuff where you can search it. I mean, it's just so annoying. Like even
Yeah.
at 1, like just like a
I was
deck.
playing Sprite,
There's,
pulling it out, Toad Rocket, bringing it back.
I'm sure if it came back, like if it did come back to 1, because there's a way to search it like that, I feel like you can work that into a deck strategy, like as like a small engine.
Yeah,
And
and
that
it would
way
be
you're searching
consistent.
Maxi. Yes. So it just, I don't know. It just, to me, don't risk it. It's gone. Let it stay gone. There's been cards on that list that have been there 20 years. This one can stay there with them. Like, it's a
All right, so
last
if you were
will
to give
card.
if you were to give 1 ban, what would it be right now if you to implement on the list that's we're getting soon?
Anything like currently?
Anything currently. 1 ban.
Ooh.
What do you think is too broken and needs to be removed? Gimmick puppet.
That's what I was just thinking of it.
No, I don't agree with that, because you could just swap that out to Ido if it got.
I don't care. I'd rather deal with Ido, but that's just me.
I would say, as crazy it might sound, probably Zeus. Zeus is one of those cards
I
that
see
you
that.
stick in every deck. So it's like, I'd say Zeus or Barone. Barone is like really grinding on me lately. It's just so free. Every deck
and the
can play
fact that it does everything. It does a pop. It does a negate. It brings itself back. Specials itself. It floats another body and brings itself back.
An Omni Negate.
One of those two is probably what I
Yeah.
would say. I don't think I really have a major issue with any. Oh, sorry, Shifter. I hate that card too. And Shifter, I actually only hate for one main reason, and that's the fact that it lasts 2 turns.
Okay, so
think,
shifter band or maxi band?
oh, Maxi. That's the worst card ever printed.
Okay, I just wanted to see where you stood. I just wanted to make sure.
Maxi is the nah.
All right,
Never,
so
ever.
people who went to Worlds, obviously they got in there. They usually left, I think, like what, the day or two beforehand. They get to Japan, they obviously check in their hotel, and then they go play the events, and then they have some time afterwards. So I want to ask what you would do if you were to go to Japan. Like if you were to win your world slot and go up there and they said, all right, you got like 24 hours to run free in Japan, go do whatever you want. How are you spending those 24 hours? And I'm going to ask Erik, how did you spend your time there when you did go?
Oh, well, yeah, like I mentioned before, the food, because I would definitely want some food. You know, the Japanese food is always looking good from what I see, like in the animes and stuff.
Takoyaki balls.
And then I just thought of this the other day too. There was a show that I watched. It was called I Survived the Japanese Game Show, and it was a bunch of Americans that were staying at this place in Japan, and they were basically doing this Japanese game show. And like they were like getting eliminated every round. It was like obstacle courses, and like it was just crazy. And I feel like doing a Japanese game show would be fun too. So.
I can see that.
You do it in 20. I think you could do it in 24 hours. You could probably schedule it up somewhere.
Yeah,
There's so many game shows going on in Japan at one given point in time.
Yeah, just stick me in a game show. I've always wanted to do a game show. Just let me do a game show.
All right, Brad wants to go from playing Yu-Gi-Oh to playing on game shows now. So now he's game show Brad.
Feed me, feed me, feed me, and then a game show, and then let me play cards.
Well, I've never been to Japan. My Worlds was in Orlando, Florida when I lived in Florida, so I got
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Get
dude.
the fuck. And you lived in Florida at the time?
Yeah,
I
bro.
would have been fucking pissed.
So they give you.
You probably woke up day before, fucking a day of. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't get a flight because there were no flights from Fort Lauderdale to Orlando. So they picked me and Travis because Travis also lived in Miami. They picked us up in like one of those like stretch like SUV limo things. Who cares about that?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, who cares?
I had to sit in the car with Travis the whole drive so he can tell me about this blinged out BA deck he had. And he's like, oh, BA's so good, all this. And then just so 2 hours before I submit our list, he's like, I need a Blue Eyes deck, dude. I need a Blue Eyes deck.
Yo, no way, did he find a Blue Eyes deck?
Yeah, bro. He built my
That's
deck.
insane.
I had been playing, so when I was prepping for Worlds, I was playing Blue Eyes at my locals with my Worlds list, the neutered list, playing at locals, so I could like play against hard decks.
Practicing. Yeah.
No, it wasn't in practice. I wasn't gonna play against half these decks, like not at full power. They weren't, and so I was just like,
well, just to see if you can compete.
Molly
right?
won. Yeah, I think we left Thursday. I think the Wednesday before, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not testing this anymore. Like, if I'm not good where I'm at now, I'm not gonna do it. So they give you the option when you get there to, at least for us, I don't know what they did for Japan, but you could go to a local game store, which I had just been there last week for like a case tournament, so I was like, nah. Or you can get a ticket to Islands of Adventure. So that's what I did the day before Worlds, is I went to a theme park and like rode all the rides. There was some guy who like decided to come with me. He was asking me all these questions. I'm like, dude, this is no Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Right
This is
now.
not about you. Yeah, that ass. I chose the fucking theme park so I can not think about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, dude, I'm going on the Hulk right now.
we can talk about Marvel shit, dog. That's crazy that you live there too. It wasn't even like they flew you across the country or some shit. They just sent a fucking SUV out. Like, yeah, go scoop his ass up.
Not even that. A stretch limo, and you're telling me that you didn't play in the back of the limo? You didn't sit on the floor in the back of the limo and play?
No, you didn't put your head out the roof? Don't lie to me.
Nah.
No.
It wasn't like a stretch, like one that you're thinking like super long. It was just like an extra long like SUV, I guess.
Stop the cat.
It was like instead of 2 rows, it was 3 rows, we'll say. So all I know is I was just like, oh, shut up, dude. Like,
yeah, I'd have been like that too. For that, I would have rather them send a limo for me and a limo for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, I'd have just rode that shit in silence.
We made it work.
That's crazy. I'd have been pissed off.
Yeah, it was pissed when he lost top 8 and didn't get his prize card, and I got to roast him the whole drive home.
Oh wow, he's talking about how shiny his Burning Abyss is. I'd be like, yeah, look how shiny this prize card is. Yeah, it's really
so
nice, huh?
Erik was talking the whole way back.
Yeah.
Travis wasn't shut up.
He probably wanted him to shut up.
The main part is he played his top 8 on stream, and it was game 2 or 3, whatever it was, and I watched it back, and I'm like, you misplayed right there. And he's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, trust me, I promise you, I've been playing this deck.
I played the deck, nigga. Like, yeah, for sure.
I promise you misplayed there. He didn't believe me for like weeks. And one day he came to the locals like, dude, I get it, dude. You're right. You're so right. I'm like, yeah, you lost your prize card because you wanted to swap your deck, 2 hours before. You didn't practice with it. So
What was the misplay?
something about he like didn't trigger his like stone engrave at the end phase to summon because he was trying to dodge another thing. But I told him he could have done. It was like a back row or something like that. I could be like
You could
messing
have
this
done
up.
White Spirit.
Yeah, white because they can tag out. And he was like,
Yeah.
oh no. He just like couldn't. He was like, no. So
Yeah. See, even I know. I
yeah,
could have won top 8. Who knows?
it was something like that for it, but it was I don't know. I was happy at the end of the weekend. After the initial loss, I was okay the next day.
Well, shit. I mean, I at least would have rather went out of like the state, like
Yeah.
at the very least, like for you to be in Florida and it's coincidentally in Florida.
The trade off
Definitely,
is that all my friends got to be there at Worlds for everything. So like hearing all the
Nah,
announcements, like my name and getting 8th place, all that.
well, okay,
Everyone's
that's
like,
Yeah.
"Oh!"
Yeah.
and I'll get you that. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Having your friends there and people who actually give a fuck about you to celebrate your accomplishments, that's something you can't really trade in. So,
Yeah.
but as far as you laning the worlds in your own state, we sometimes, I don't know, we just can't accept those things.
I agree.
But guys, we are running out of life points. Close out today's episodes. Just want to give a quick thanks to Erik for taking time out of his day to come on, and for Brad for stepping up and taking some initiative to jump on the mic and get out there for you guys as well. So before we go, I just want to make sure we go over a bunch of the things. Just to go over the winner of the Doom box, because some people haven't heard yet, because we are getting our YouTube situated as of right now on day of recording. But we'll be getting the shorts up and running. And until then, I just want to announce that our winner for the Dune box on Twitter was Ben Barrios. He retweeted. He was so
he was so happy.
We went over. He really was. It was delightful to give it to him.
He had that got him. That fucking
Yeah, he
got
was
him.
right. My boy Ben was talking that shit, man.
Yeah,
He really was. So congratulations to Ben. He joined the Twitter raffle and won, so we gave him the box over over at local. So shout out to him. He pulled corridors. I know for that much for a fact, because he wanted to give it to Antonio. Not that I was aware of. No, I don't think he pulled one. So
where's that thumbs down? Where's that thumbs down?
Yeah,
Where
exactly.
Wait,
hold on. Where is it at? We gotta give it to him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe
Sorry,
next time,
Ben.
Maybe next time, Ben.
But make sure you join the next giveaway that we have going on our Twitter and our TikTok. When we hit 50 followers on each, we'll be giving away maybe a play set of cards, a play mat, some accessories. Who knows? I might sign something and send it out. You never know. We might get something for Erik to sign and send out, because he is another local comrade. So we'll do a giveaway or something like that. Have him sign something. Yeah, maybe it'd be a Blue Eyes, so that way he can forever relive that moment.
Decatrons. That was the one I signed after a YCS. Some kids like, "Hey, we signed these?" I'm like, "Yeah."
We'll make sure to get something out for you guys. Hey, you just gotta join our Discord in the description box below in that link tree. You'll see it when you click on there. Join the Discord. Just tell us exactly what you want, and we'll be sure to get it out there for you guys, because we just want to give back to you guys the way you guys give back to us. So go down there. And one more time, shout outs to our sponsor, Unplugged Gaming in Manlius, New York. If you happen to be out there, stop into the shop. They got TCGs of all different kinds, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Bandai games like One Piece and Digimon, whatever you want, they got it there. That new Lucaria stuff, yeah, they got the plushes, they got the backpacks, they got the gear, whatever you want.
Did you say
it's
Lucaria? I think you mean
whatever it is.
Lorcana.
Lorcana.
This is
go
gonna
get
sue you
whatever
for
the
that
fuck
if you're
it
not
is.
careful.
Go get some Mickey Mouse. Some Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck or whatever the power you do.
Well, I just know they got it there, so you can go get all that shit. Go make fun of me to Joe, and he'll give you a discount or something. And also be sure to go check out Brad's stream. He streams on Twitch live every Saturday at 11 o'clock, or at least close to 11 o'clock, as much as you can get. And he'll be on there for about an hour and a half or so, and you can go ahead and give your details there one more time, bud.
Yeah, like I said, every week Saturday. I mean, SummerSlam was last Saturday. I had to watch it. That was running late. Roman Reigns was. We'll get to that at a different time, anyways. But yeah, yeah. Twitch.tv/semi_perfect_gaming. So check me out. Watch me kick some kids' ass in Yu-Gi-Oh, and watch me rage quit myself. So.
All right, and then Eric, did you have any last thoughts on the show? Any shout outs that you want to give out to anyone?
Yeah, I just first time. I'm so proud of you. X. You finally topped the locals this weekend, and
Oh my God,
it
fuck
really
you.
shows your.
It's all right. Thank you, Papa.
I know it got swiftly taken away by AJ, but that's okay.
Yeah, no, I don't know what the fuck those Unchained shit do. You know, I'll take this one. Stupid. All right, but we're gonna end it here, guys. We're officially out of life points. I Player X, and we are the Semi Limited Podcast. Thank you for tuning in.